I tested this combo in Riga last weekend. Hi there, I'm Peter Forsgaard, an Olympus Visionary from Helsinki, Finland. I had a chance to test the M.Zuiko 12-15mm lens last weekend in Riga. I took it with me to see how it performs as a lens for casual photography. I was just being a tourist there for the whole weekend. I borrowed this lens from Olympus Finland, and thanks Olympus Finland for letting me test this pretty cool lens. The focal length is 12-50mm, so it's equivalent to 24-100mm in full frame terms. Fastest aperture is 3.5 in 12mm, and the fastest aperture in 50mm is 6.3, so it's not a very fast lens. And that was my biggest concern. How does it perform if there is not a lot of light? But I mostly used it on daylight, and the weather was kind of cloudy and it rained a little bit, so it was actually a perfect weather to test this lens. Even though it would have been nice to see how it performs when there is very, very harsh sunlight. The overall feel of the lens is quite good, even though it's a little plastic feeling. It weighs only 212 grams, and with this combo, with the EM5 Mark II, it was 681 grams, so it's not too heavy. As you can see, it's not the shortest lens, it's actually quite long, so if you need a shorter lens, then you might consider the pancake zoom, the kit lens, the 14-42mm pancake lens, which is also a very handy lens for traveling. One great thing about the 12-50mm M.Zuiko lens is splashproof and dustproof, so it can handle a little moist and rain and little dust. Of course, it doesn't mean that if it's a very heavy rain I wouldn't use it, but it's okay to use it when it's just a light rain, it doesn't matter. The 12-50mm lens also have a macro feature. By pressing the button that says macro on the side of the lens, and at the same time you pull the clutch forward, and then the lens is in macro mode, it can focus from 20 centimeters to 50 centimeters. And the focal length is fixed while shooting macro. Before we get more into the image quality, I want to point out that it's an electronic zoom. Personally, I don't really like the electronic zoom when I do photography. To switch it off, just pull the clutch towards the camera and voila, you have a manual zoom. And of course, if you want to use the electronic zoom, then the clutch goes this way. And to use the electronic zoom, just turn the zoom ring. As I said, I don't really personally like electronic zooms in photography, but I also tried it, how it works with video, and that actually turned out to be pretty handy feature in this lens, or in this combo. By zooming in or out can make a little difference if you do some casual vacation videos. But be careful that you don't zoom too fast. The electronic zoom speed can be adjusted in the menu. In the EM5 Mark II it's in custom menu K. You can set for stills and videos separately. I used normal speed in my examples. The image quality is okay, and the price range of this is not too bad, so the value for the money, I think it's really nice. The price is around 400 euros, can be a little more, but I've seen it being sold like 350. All the photos you see in this video are taken with this combo. The only thing in the image quality was that I needed to use a little more contrast when post-processing these images compared to other images, but otherwise it's a very good value for the money. Riga is the capital of Latvia with a little less than 700,000 people living in it. It was founded in 1201, so it has been there for a while. To get a nice overview of the city, I recommend to go up to the St. Peter's Church Tower. It has an elevator, so no climbing up the stairs. There's also a very interesting photo museum. It exhibits old cameras and lots of old pictures, even daguerreotypes. It mainly tells the history of photography in Latvia. I guess the most famous photographer from Latvia is Philip Halsman. There was actually a very nice statue of him in one of the streets in Old Town Riga. There's a sign that be aware that Philip Halsman is taking pictures, and then when you looked up you could see him taking the pictures. I think it was a very clever idea to make a statue of him like that. Another very famous guy who was born in Latvia was Walter Capps, the inventor of Minox spy cameras. That was an interesting knowledge that I learned in that museum. I didn't know that. Never actually got into the history of Minox cameras, but there were a lot of things about Minox cameras and exhibited almost all the different models that they've ever made. In the museum they also had a gallery. At the time I visited the museum, they had a very interesting exhibition by Inta Ruka. The name of the exhibition was Remembering Life. The images were mostly portraits of people that had suffered from the war, from the Second World War. Every picture had a story, and even some of the pictures were taken in the same place that the story was about. It was a very interesting exhibition, and I'm glad I visited the museum. And of course, I bought a book in the museum. It's pictures by Andris Grants. He's a Latvian photographer. Very good documentary photography about Latvian life. He has been documenting the everyday life in Latvia. And it's a very good documentary photography book. I'm glad I came across this book and this photographer. It's very, very interesting. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.